how it feels to live in the Destin area here in Florida. If you're one of those people that are thinking about investing, coming here part-time, coming and living in the area full-time, I got the information coming at you. I'm gonna be talking about why people love living into this area, what activities to do. We're gonna talk about where to live and specifically what prices look like midway through 2024 and where they're trending. We're gonna talk about some of the best areas to go to, and again, what to expect if you are gonna be a short-term rental, a short-term person, part-time owner, whatever, here in this area. So we got that. We got some photos of the area so that you can get to know the area. So if that's what you're looking for, stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore here with the Whittemore Group in the beautiful Destin-Fort Walton Beach area here on the Emerald Coast. If this is your first time to our channel, we do tons and tons of videos about everything you need to know about our area. So make sure to go ahead and click the subscribe button as well, and then you can click the little bell so that you're notified every single time we got a new video coming out. We have people reaching out all the time, looking what it's like to invest here in Destin, to live, all sorts of different questions. It's never too early to reach out to us. Either myself or one of my awesome partner agents, experts here in the area, would be happy to chat with you to explain the things that are important to you. So please give us a call, text, email, heck, shoot us that little paper airplane. Whatever you got to do, we got your back when moving here or investing in the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. All right, so let's talk about Destin. First of all, where is Destin? If you've never been here before, you're just kind of looking at it, maybe you've got a job coming up this way, where is it? So it is actually between Pensacola and Panama City Beach. It's right up there on what we call the panhandle of Florida in Northwest Florida. A lot of people like to come down to the Destin area to vacation, and that's where a lot of the popularity for this area came from. It also houses just outside of it one of the bigger Air Force bases called Eglin Air Force Base. So we have a lot of people that come in for that support that infrastructure as well. There's Destin, right? So why do people love living here, and what activities are there to do? The first thing I want to mention, because I was a military guy, I was 14 years in the military. One of my last stations was here in the Destin area, and I fell in love with it. As soon as my commitment was up, I moved myself, my family here, and we love living in this area. And the reason being is the people and the environment. So it's the people that really make the biggest difference. So originally, I'm from upstate New York. And if you've ever been up there, you know, it's pretty cool to be there to visit. If you've ever lived there, it's a little bit trying. I think all of us from the Northeast will agree that it's a little bit gloomy, you know, it isn't as active. So people are a little bit ornery. They're more to themselves. They're very forward if you're not used to that. And kind of miserable. And I was definitely one of those people. But I say that in contrast because when I moved down here and started driving around, there'd be random people waving. And I'm like, what's going on here? As a young adult, when I first got in the military, I was like, especially going to Texas, that was the same thing. I was like, do I know this person? Right? So it took some time to get used to. And it's actually really nice because this specific area has a great combination of people. So let me explain. First of all, you have a lot of military people that come in from all around the world, bringing all types of different personalities, right? And that's really cool because it kind of diversifies the area. And a lot of people, just like me, will stick around after they get done with their military service and be part of this community. Additionally, we're also south of Alabama, you know, Georgia, that area that we'll call the South, right? And there's a lot of Southern values that come with that. That Southern hospitality is also a part of the community. Additionally, you also have Florida, because we're all Floridians here, right? So we get the craziness of Florida that mixes all in with that. And to be part of Destin as well, most of the time, most of the year, we have a lot of people from out of state and vacation. And people typically on vacation are really happy people. And you're in a beautiful area. So this relaxed environment with happy, diverse kind of people is just a really cool place to hang out. So that's why I say number one, I wanted to mention here for Destin. Other things that you can do in this area, you have Destin Commons. Now, Destin Commons is an outside mall that you can go to, like an outdoor mall with different things. things. It's got all sorts of restaurants, and as you would expect, shops and a mall. It's got a movie theater there. It's got a little bowling alley as well. There's all sorts of different things coming in and out of that area. There's a little splash pad for the kids. Just a really cool spot to go hang out. So that's the Destin Commons. You also have Destin Harbor, which is in Old Destin or East Destin once you come over the bridge. And that houses all the fun things that we like to do as adults and as kids, right? We got the harbor walk that goes down there, different places to get some delicious libations, some bars. There's a little place called AJ's. It's not so little anymore. It's really blown up. That's really kind of a nice little party spot. But you got the harbor down there to get onto dolphin tours, to rent jet skis, to do all these different things down in this area. It's super, super popular and a really fun time. There's a zip line that goes down there. I can keep going on. And right across the way, there's another beach park called Noriega Point. And out there is that white sand beaches you can get over to if you've got some sort of way to get over there nautically, or you can drive all the way around to get to it. Just a really, really cool spot. In addition, you can also get out to Crab Island. You typically want to have some sort of watercraft or be in the water taxi, or better yet, get a captain to get you out there, because a lot of the times, if you like to drink, this is a great place to go out. Crab Island used to be super crazy. It's not as crazy anymore. You know, I'd bring my kids out to the area, but it does have some different boats that are kind of tied up on the barge. It's not really an island. It's just a low area. It used to be an island, but a hurricane washed it away. So now you'll be in ankle to waist deep water. It's just fun. People are playing their music. They're out having some different drinks, having lunch, you know, playing out games, all sorts of things. It's just a really, really cool place to go. There are some barges out there as well where you can rent some paddle boards or whatever you want to do. There's always somebody out there giving out ice cream, making money that way. So it's a really, really cool spot to go out to Crab Island. I highly suggest it as a family or as an adventurous adult. You can have fun across the board there. Also in Destin, you have public and private beaches that you can go to. The more famous private beach is the Henderson Park, which is a state park that you can get out to. You're gonna have to pay to get in there, but you'll have a little bit more privacy. You'll have places to go use the restrooms, changing rooms, things like that throughout there. There are camping sites as well if that's something that you're into. If you like RVs, or if you have one of those and that's how you like to travel, this is a good place to go as well. There are public beaches that are scattered throughout the Fort Walton Beach area. The biggest public beach that people like to go to is going to be over there. If you're looking on a map, it's right there by the Destin Crab Trap. And right there is the big beach that you can go to. There's a couple of pavilions that are public access, and you can head down there. And that specific area is called Crystal Beach that you can go to. I already mentioned Noriega Point, and there's a couple of parks throughout the area that you can gain access. Also, people love going there for restaurants. I'm one of those people. There are a ton of restaurants out in the Destin area. It's where people want to go. And because it's the hub of the tourist spot, a lot of those restaurants are delicious and really good because it needs to be to support the infrastructure of tourism that comes through the Destin area. If you want some suggestions, go ahead and ask that in the comments below and be happy to fill some out for you. There are tons of shops in the area. I know I mentioned Destin Commons, but there's also these little shops, boutique shops all throughout the Destin area. Now, including these shops, you're gonna find more of those in the older East Destin, like I talked on the Harbor Walk and up and down Highway 98. You're gonna find a lot of those different cool boutique shops to just go out and shop. For groceries, if you're moving to this area, the big place that people will go, you have a Publix, which is kind of our high-end-ish grocery store. But if you really want, the only place to find a Whole Foods is there in Destin, right by the Destin Commons. Some places, there's also a fresh market that's there as well that people like to go to. Big thing that people like to do in Destin is the water sports. There's lots of great fishing. There's great tours that you can get on some jet skis, paddle boarding. It's absolutely beautiful if you want to get out and go boating. It's some of the world-class boating that you're going to find in the area, and fishing, really. So if you've got the family, you want to go check out, there's a water park called Big Kahunas that you can go out to. There's all sorts of cool tourist things for you and the family to go to. If you are into going into certain shows and you're like, man, we're not in a big city, we're not going to be able to see a lot of live music, Club LA is another place where they'll get a whole different bunch of bands. It's actually right next to another bowling alley, but that's neither here nor there. But Club LA, you'll be able to see anywhere between your favorite country artists, you like metal music that's in there too. All sorts of different things will come through Club LA. And last but not least, one of the things that attracted me as a young single guy when I first got into the area was all the bars, right? There were tons and tons of bars down there. Always a different crowd just because of all the tourism throughout. Now, in the off season, you're gonna get more of the locals and you get more of a local feel, which is pretty cool. But just know that throughout most of the year, we're gonna get a lot of different people throughout there. That's the best way I can put it. But it's super fun, right? A lot of the times you can start at the beginning or the far west side of the Harbor Walk and work your way one way or vice versa. There's a bunch of different ones all throughout the area that you can go check out. But I'm gonna say that some of the best ones are gonna be right there off the Harbor Walk in Old Destin. Okay, so now we talked about why people wanna move here. Let's talk about where to live specifically in this area. So let's talk about what those housing prices look like living in Destin. I'd say, as I just mentioned here, this is the happening spot. This is where everybody kind of wants to be, right? As here on the peninsula. So let's talk about pricing. For single family homes, our median, which is the biggest cluster of prices in the area here in the middle of 2024, is around $892,500. Whew. Yeah, so that's a little bit up there. Now this includes those that are sitting on the water to those that aren't in the best of neighborhoods, that are in the best of neighborhoods, just to give you an idea where that is. The lowest that we saw in the last year was $257,000 and the high was a whopping $9.2 million. Pretty much an estate sitting there right on the Gulf of Mexico. So you would expect that it would go for that amount. Absolutely gorgeous house. I'd definitely Google it and check it out. But those are your single family homes. For townhomes or attached units, if it's more than one unit in there, we call them townhomes. So let's just call it that. The median for that area for the last year was $394,950. Now that was a low of $170,000 on the base side, right? And a high all the way up to $3.5 million, which is a penthouse suite that they found there, okay? Some of the condos that we have in the area, there's tons and tons of vacation condos. And this doesn't just include vacation condos, this includes other ones that don't allow vacation rentals, but majority of them are vacation rentals, majority of which are sitting there on the Gulf with the view or beachfront access. So the median price in Destin to get a condo was $660,000. Now that's a low of $160,000 and a high of $3.6 million. Again, penthouse condo, right? There are all sorts of different ways that you can find housing in the area, some of which are going to be a little bit more affordable depending upon where you're coming from, but you will pay a price to be in the action. That's just kind of how it is here. So what are some of the best areas? Let's talk about the luxury, most affordable, and the best access to the beach. So for luxury places, the one that I will suggest to you is going to Kelly Plantation. Kelly Plantation is a gated community where it has attached units. It's got luxury condos on the bay side that's right next to a golf course. It has all these different neighborhoods throughout it. Absolutely beautiful place to go to. And as you drive through, you can tell that you're in a private neighborhood and everything's kind of put together that way and just really has that great feel. Next in line, I'm gonna say is Regatta Bay, because it doesn't have all the amenities and it still has different neighborhoods, but it's just not Kelly Plantation. Regatta Bay is on the other side of the Destin Commons. And in Regatta Bay, of course, it has the golf course. It's got a great marina. It was actually featured in Boating Magazine a while back for one of the best places to boat in the United States. But Regatta Bay also has that private community. It's not as diversified, but you're still gonna get a same sort of feel. And I think it's a little bit cheaper. I haven't actually run those numbers, but just based off the top of my head, I think it's a little bit cheaper being in Regatta Bay. It's gonna be for Kelly Plantation. The most affordable areas, if you're just looking for that, going into Old Destin. Now, if you watch any of the other videos for this area, I'll let you know that most, unless it's a planned housing area, most of this area is going to be very eclectic. What I mean by that is that you may have a $2.3 million sitting on the bay across the street from a $300,000 home and a couple blocks away from some old trailers. Like, they still exist out there. There's not too many in Destin anymore, but they're still there, okay? But you're going to find the older homes homes. Nobody's really looking after compliance with anything. So you may get some here, some there, whatever. It's still a nice area. But in older Destin, you'll find the older homes and a little bit smaller, not in a planned neighborhood. But when you look at West Destin, like Northwest Destin, you're gonna find the most affordable homes in that area. But the best access to the beach is an area called Crystal Beach, which is now just east of the Henderson Beach, that state park, just below Highway 98, all the way until you get to about Miramar Beach. That's what we call Crystal Beach area. Now, this area is really great for access to the beach. It's get in your golf cart and drive down to the beach. There's public access beaches. There's all these little accesses to the beach as well, all throughout the scenic 98 route that's down there. Like if you have a golf cart, if you're walking, if you're on your bike, to be able to get through these little private entrances that you would miss if you were driving to get out to the beach if you don't want to be part of the big area out there, which is James Lee Beach, which is over there by the Destin Crab Trap. So all these great access in there. A couple of things just to note if you're coming down there, that there's no restrictions for short-term rentals. So there's a lot of people renting out their houses or renting out their condos or attached units or whatever. So there's a lot of influx of tourism coming through there. However, if you like new people all the time, what a great place to be. So that kind of explains moving to the area. Let's talk a little bit about what it's like to live here part-time. So when we talk about that, we're talking about renting it out the rest of the time. So maybe you're gonna stay here for a little bit and then rent out the rest or whatever. When I talk to investors, there are usually three different types of investors, generally speaking. One is just somebody looking for a secondary home, is not gonna rent it out, don't really care, okay? Got the financial means to not care. Awesome, love you guys. Number two is those that want to buy an asset, have it cash flow while they're not in it, and then enjoy it when they want to. That's the majority of people moving into the area, usually looking for condos, right? And it could be single family homes as long as you're able to do so. And the third is those that don't care what it is as long as the numbers make sense. Okay. Right now in 2024, with the interest rates being what they are, numbers aren't making sense. I'm just going to be frank with you. Right now, when it comes to investing here in this time frame, it's all about finding the right asset because appreciation, it's still happening. We're still seeing appreciation of prices. So what we're doing is we're finding that perfect place. We're dating the interest rate, but we're marrying the property. We're marrying the house, right? So eventually that interest rate will go down and then you'll make it up in equity is what a lot of my investors have been doing or planning to do, and then just buying down the interest rate when they eventually go down, but getting it at a good price now, knowing that prices are just going up right now. In any case, what I can tell you is that when you do that, there are some things to consider. Right now, as the time of this video is actually the 4th of July here in 2024, right now is the biggest peak week of the entire year. So think of it as a bell curve, right? And right at the middle is the month of July. That's when you're gonna get the most amount for your rental. And then it kind of dips down after July, and then we get into the off season and it's kind of the low end of it, right? So if you are going to do that and you're looking for cash flow, you may not want to visit during the summer because that's when you're going to make all your money. However, if it's more important for you just to offset the cost, that's a more realistic approach to getting something in the Destin area, then perfect. You know, go ahead and come in this time and it will offset the cost. As long as you are mentally set with that and really know what those numbers are going to look like or have a good idea, I think that you'll be safe. There are different places, some homes that need some rehab, but the competition's pretty tough right now, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. So these things do come up and around, and just know that if you are looking for a short-term rental, there are some places, especially Old Destin, where you cannot, the city will not let you do a short-term rental. So make sure that you talk to a real estate professional before making that investment. Talk to us. All right, so as we cap this video up, is living in Destin worth it? I would say absolutely, depending upon what it is that you're looking after. If these prices don't make sense to you, you're more than welcome to spend half the money and just have access to Destin to live in places like Niceville or Fort Walton Beach. Right? Miramar is going to be a little bit more expensive. Freeport's kind of really far out to travel, but any of these little places that are around it, you can still have the access, almost immediate access to Destin without paying the premiums. But if it's really important for you to be part of this, you got the financial means, absolutely. All the people that we've helped move into the Destin area have absolutely loved it, and hopefully we can help you too. All right, that's all that we have for how it feels living in Destin. If you have any questions about anything I mentioned here, please leave it in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. If you you are lucky enough to be here on our audio program, there's will be a number for you to text. Please do so if you have any questions for myself or anybody here on the team. Of course, if you are moving to Destin, looking to invest in this area, again, it's never too early to contact us. Give us a call, text, email, whatever you got to do. We got your back when moving here to our area. All right, well, I'm Tim Whittemore here with LPT Realty. We'll see you in our next video. Take care.